and staff of ECOWAS institutions are honored to welcome Your Excellencies to the 65th Podium Session of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government. We express our deep gratitude and appreciation to His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as well as to the government and the people of Nigeria for their leadership, generosity, and hospitality to ECOWAS and ECOWAS institutions. Excellencies, permit me to warmly welcome their Excellencies, President Basiru Diomaye Faye and President Joseph Boakai, to their first meeting of ECOWAS Authority as heads of state of the Republic of Senegal and the Republic of Nigeria. Management and staff of ECOWAS institutions wish to assure them of our full collaboration. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, later in the day, I will be presenting to you the media report that summarizes the achievements we have made and the challenges encountered in the various sectors. We will show the significant progress the community has made in the area of trade and trade facilitation, competition, as well as payment and settlement system, industrial standards, and policy harmonization. We will also be reporting on ECOWAS single currency project, as well as our response to food insecurity in the region. Human capital development, gender, youth, and sports development are other key areas we will be reporting on. The media report will also cover the extensive work that has gone into other sectors, such as agriculture and environment, education and culture, as well as mines and energy, especially renewable energy. While the report will be presented during the closed session, its content will remain available for the public to see that ECOWAS is not just about conflicts, elections, and politics. We will continue to work with our brothers and sisters of the media to communicate more on these areas. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, since your last ordinary session here in Abuja, a number of important developments have taken place in the region. We have witnessed a significant transition of political authority in the Republic of Senegal. We have also had peaceful elections in Togo. I congratulate both countries and assure them of the Commission's continued collaboration. In Sierra Leone, an agreement for national unity which was signed by the stakeholders received major boosts recently during the review mission that ECOWAS, UN, and the African Union undertook. We salute the leadership of His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio and his role in the series of discussions that culminated in the resolution of various issues. Excellencies, the elections that have taken place so far this year, and those that took place last year here in Nigeria, in Guinea-Bissau, in Sierra Leone, and Liberia, show that despite all odds, democracy is alive in our region. We look forward to the consolidation of this trend in the region as we prepare for a major election in Ghana later this year. Excellencies, reminding ourselves of these positive developments is not in any form an exercise in self-glorification. Rather, it is a recognition of the progress we as a community have made. But the significance of these events and development is being overshadowed by the multidimensional challenges that our region faces. Our region is still confronted with multiple interlocking threats, including existential ones. continue to be threatened by illegal and unsustainable exploitation of our land, forest, and marine resources. Government services and marginalization have strained social contracts, engendering bitter rivalries and unhealthy competition. To complicate the situation, our region has become the arena of geostrategic and geopolitical rivalries and the theater of disinformation and disinformation that engenders distrust among and within communities and undermines social cohesion. Excellence, Monsieur le Chef d'État, notre région est jamais simultanément au temps des défis depuis de nombreuses années. En effet, en dehors de nombreuses menaces liées à la paix et à la sécurité, ainsi que des défis liés à la pauvreté, notre région est également confrontée au risque de désintégration. Car, comme vous le savez tous, le 29 janvier dernier, le Burkina Faso, le Mali et le Niger ont notifié à la Commission leur intention de quitter la CEDEAO avec effet immédiat. Notre peuple, le peuple de l'Afrique de l'Ouest, vit au sein d'une communauté intégrée de la CEDEAO depuis plusieurs décennies. Les populations ont bénéficié d'une liberté de mouvement dans notre espace CEDEAO et elles ont commencé à percevoir les avantages de notre marché commun où les produits locaux sont commercialisés librement sur un marché de plus de 400 millions d'habitants. À cela s'ajoute l'utilisation d'un passeport commun et d'une carte d'identité biométrique commune pour les déplacements à l'intérieur de notre espace communautaire. Au regard de ces avantages, il est évident que la désintégration perturbera non seulement la liberté de mouvement et d'établissement des personnes, mais elle aggravera également la sécurité dans la région. Plus spécifiquement, le retrait des trois pays portera un coup dur à la coopération en matière de sécurité, notamment en termes de partage de renseignements et de participation à la lutte contre le terrorisme dans la sous-région et d'autres initiatives conjointes de sécurité telles que la mise en œuvre de la force régionale, de la CEDEAO, que le ministre de la Défense et nos États membres viennent de convenir d'activer. Le retrait des trois pays pourrait également conduire à un isolement diplomatique et politique sur la scène internationale, dans la mesure où les pays ne pourront plus bénéficier d'un soutien de bloc en cas de candidature de leurs citoyens ou citoyennes à des postes internationaux au sein de l'Union africaine, des Nations unies et des organismes similaires. Ce retrait affectera également les conditions de voyage et d'immigration des citoyens de ces trois pays, car ils auront désormais à mener des démarches en vue de l'obtention d'un visa avant de voyager dans la sous-région. Les citoyens de ces pays pourraient ne plus être en mesure de rester ou de créer librement des entreprises dans le cadre des facilités mises en place par la CEDEAO et pourraient être soumis à divers lois nationales. Ainsi, ces trois pays vont devoir cesser d'utiliser le passeport de la CEDEAO, la carte d'identité nationale biométrique de la CEDEAO et l'assurance automobile, carte dont la valeur est estimée à plus de 500 millions de dollars américains. Il convient également de noter que les deux institutions financières régionales, qui sont le BIDC et la BOAD, ont des investissements très importants dans ces trois pays. Le BIDC compte 27 projets actuellement dans ces trois pays, d'une valeur totale estimée à environ 321 millions de dollars. Les trois pays ont apporté un total de 333 millions de dollars américains au capital de la banque. Sur le plan institutionnel, il convient de noter que le retrait des trois pays entraînera non seulement la fermeture des 4 structures régionales de la CEDEAO au Burkina Faso, les 2 organismes régionaux de la CEDEAO au Mali et d'un bureau régional de la CEDEAO au Niger, mais il affectera également la sécurité d'emploi de quelques 130 personnels de la CEDEAO qui sont des citoyens des trois pays. Excellencies, it is the dire consequences of the withdrawal on the citizens that informed your decision to open dialogue with the three countries with a view to maintaining the unity of our community. Before you is a report on the various demarches undertaken in this regard for your consideration and further instructions. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, ECOWAS will be 50 next year. In accordance with your instructions, the Commission has started preparations for the celebration of this important milestone. It is, however, important to note that we will be celebrating our Golden Jubilee in a context marked by geostrategic and geopolitical rivalries that have not spared our region. We must therefore be proactive in our response to these developments. It is for this reason that the Commission is proposing a special extraordinary summit on the future of our community. The honorable ministers have considered this proposal and instructed that a memorandum be submitted for your consideration. Excellencies, as I conclude, allow me to inform you that among the items that the report of the Council to you will cover is the dire financial situation of the community, especially the difficulties we are facing with regard to the remittance of community levy that member states collect on behalf of ECOWAS. I am confident that your excellencies will endorse the positive stance that the Council of Ministers has taken on the matter. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you.